I'm trying to, if it's possible, I'm trying to put my pinch where it comes right down on the high point of one of the last rounds. And actually, you guys might want to work into that, this corner here, looking over my shoulder occasionally, just because you'll get a real good viewpoint of me pinching. But
so how big do you make it before you transfer to the back of the? Just so you're not comfortable with doing it in your hand.
Well, this clay. So if I was in the studio, I would probably have to set it down, walk away a little bit for it to catch up with me. Okay. But the dryness out here right now is staying right with me, and that's just a timing thing. You know, usually I can be working outside because I'm trying to stay ahead of it. But right now, knock on wood, I don't know if it's Andy's clay or what, but it's sticking with me. So.
Yeah, that's a new idea.
But you guys know there's a lot of. I'm really adhering that. And we may just have to, because these newbies that have been to the Kiln Conference more than once, maybe we'll let them demo a little bit too. I mean, first Kiln Conference for me was how many years ago? 5 or 6. And I showed up with a bunch of pots to fire. And I just assumed everybody in the world jumped in and did everything. And the next year I was giving a talk, and I didn't know the slightest idea what I was talking about, but I thought I was somebody. And so I see all you new faces, and I was like, I'm not opposed to you guys jumping in. All right, got a little bit more of a point on that. Now, what am I doing on the back side? I'm smoothing those rows, but you notice that I'm pulling the clay. I'm actually creating the bevel from the inside and the outside now. I'll do another one. Sorry. Get a lot of clay. This is starting to really get dry on me.
That's not that when I was trying to smooth the back, I destroy the corrugation, you know, so
really light touch.
Light touch, okay.
Yeah, really light touch. Now, we assume that ancient people would have been setting out on a hot day like this with the corrugation. I truly don't think they would have been in a back room. They'd done it in the morning. They'd got in the shade. They went down to Kiva. I mean, working outside is definitely, and John's a master of it. He works. Yes, sir. Oh. I looked up and saw that headdress. I was like, who is that? This is the bad thing. I should lay this down while I do this because I cannot hardly. I'm missing a tool. I don't. That's the worst thing about putting water on your table is that your clay wants to stick to your table. Back there, that sucker's getting dry. I can feel it in here. He'll be done. He'll be ready to take home by the time he gets home.
Ready to fire.
And the thing is that, you know, let's say this clay has a, 8% shrinkage, and the row before has, got rid of 20% of its moisture before I get the next row put on. You're going to get plane changes like crazy. It's nice to pinch clear through and let the bite touch so that you don't get to where you can see underneath that whole thing. That didn't make sense at all. I got to think of a different way to say that. What it means is sometimes you put a row on and you pinch, but you never make the 2 rows make contact. I don't know if I can show that to you or not.
You don't want to do that, right?
You won't want to leave that spot that'll just come
gap.
undone. Yeah. I think we're going to make you demo here in a minute. You know what you're talking about. Or
I don't know how to do it. I know how to do it.
Well, and this is one of those things that you can't learn how to do it without starting over and over. I mean, I'm not kidding. Even in this last month, I'll bet I've spent a week doing nothing but. Because I was trying to learn some new pinches and just doing starting.
That's how we've done all year. Since we've met John. That's it.
Over and over.
We haven't made anything else.
So I know as little about corrugated as anybody.
I don't know why I'm rolling out.
But
then jump in.
Usually I see.
But I know that like Clint does it different than John. So
I don't see a lot of.
my question is,
if I fire this in a reduced atmosphere,
which is hers most likely? Which one is chance?
But your master
depends on the firing is what makes the color, not the clay.
Did you make the cookies?
This is all Andy's everything, even the clay, everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your magic basket.
Yeah. So it's found in association with Salato polychromes a lot of places, including on the rim and down here, and they're called perforated plates.
Okay.
And nobody really knows why. It started up in the Cayenta region,
Okay.
and then moved south.
Okay, because I make my own out of micaceous, and I've never put the holes in.
Yeah, they don't have any functional purpose that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But
They haven't found any with like a basketry or anything on it, or
they're pretty sure that
And before he
they're pretty sure they were used as as pookies based on like they're found with clay still attached to them or pigment still attached to them. But the holes weren't even always punched all the way through. Sometimes there's like when you stick a stick through wet clay, sometimes a little piece of clay will pull back into the hole when you pull out.
Yeah.
And they'll find that with that still in there, so they know that no thread or anything ever went through it.
Spacing mark.
It may have been more like a tradition. We always put holes here because,
they've always done.
yeah, it could be related to a superstition. Who knows?
could it have something to do with painting a design? It's really
I've heard that speculated, but I don't see any real proof of that either. But I don't know. The holes aren't always the same distance apart.
Yeah.
The sometimes they're even painted on. Not even real holes. It's a strange thing. Archaeologists have a lot of fun making stuff up about why the holes are there.
Well, it's obviously got religious significance.
That may be why they
Ritual,
did it.
yes, ritual.
ceremonial.
Yes,
Say
exactly.
ceremonial.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
watch your word, watch your mouth. The be all end all, right?
So Cherylene, I was asking about corrugated because I really don't do a lot of corrugated. I don't know much about it. I know that like Clint and John approach it differently.
Yep.
Where do you fall in that? Your way of doing it, unlike either one of them.
It all counts. It's all as far
No, I don't mean which you think is correct. I mean the way you're doing it is most like
I do
John's.
I do them all.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason was I started doing like this is Swink's pinch.
Okay.
Right here, no doubt. And then I watched John a long time, and I never mastered John again because you got to cut your fingernail clear off down here to master him. But I've hung in around enough of them that I've tried, and I probably have 3 pinches that I really like. One is Swink's, it's right here. But I also have the one that's more similar to John with using my thumb. So, but it's just like everything else. Just they're all.
It's how your fingers go too. I know, like Kelly, I think she uses her middle finger when she pinches.
She's kind of a hybrid of John.
Yeah.
Tori was going to do John's pinch, but could never. I'll show you Tori's pinch here in a minute. I'm just going to show you some different pinches, and then if we get time, when it's a little bit drier. Again, I'm trying to get right in there. And if you noticed when I started, I was more this way. Now I'm wanting to get that finger more out this way. I want to get around that darn corner, and I don't have my glasses on. So it might be the
You're doing pretty good. So.
prettiest pot I ever seen not wearing glasses. Listen to that. That bird?
Yeah, it's a
So you go
well-bird.
between the two previous
I think that's
The
a
hope is to
curve-bill
touch.
thrasher, isn't it?
So that
Yeah.
one right there, I
It's a
can't
lot
do it
smaller.
on.
Oh,
I did see a
See
curve
where
bill,
this is
though.
a point from before.
Because I've
Touch
associated
that
it.
There's a male and a
Touch that
female.
too. You guys probably see it better than I can. Can we touch them? You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Purse is okay.
Now let's talk a different style of pinch then, because you may not get home and you may not be an index finger pincher.
figure out where to do the.
Oh, I love that. What a
Do
voice.
you want to hold it or you
You
can
pass it to the next person.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to take a peek. I mean, that's the
Look and
bare
learn.
minimum. We're not
Yes.
even into the turn line, right? If John was here, he would plunk down over there on that bench, and he would hardly ever look up. What's he do? He looks over his glasses, or and he gets sit in that zone,
And
and
he's the biggest hands, and he can make delicate little tiny pinches. Little teeny pinches.
and I don't do John's pot well, but I will show you. So, remember earlier I said this friend, a lot of you probably haven't met Tori, but she tried to do John's pins and never could. So, her thing now is she's reaching in the pot like this, and she's looking down on
That's
that
how I'm
bottom,
doing it.
and she's pushing here.
Is she
And
getting this
then-
in?
That's more natural to me than John's, where he's like almost upside down on the pot.
Well, when she gets to the point where she has to go through that suicide line, and she's going to be holding it like this now she can't get in this angle.
yeah.
So then she's looking over the top and using this finger.
Oh,
So
is she
she's
getting this
changing. No, She's changing digits. She's starting with her thumb till she gets to here. But her thing I don't like about that pinch is you've got to get clear over this pot when you're working it because you're working on the outside of the outside.
So what about when your pot starts getting really big? How's she doing?
That's what I've asked her. I said, well, what are you going to do when you make something bigger than 6 inches?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't get realistic to hang over the top of a pot this big.
Yeah.
So trying to learn her pinch, I started doing this one. And she's a beautiful corrugator, don't get me wrong. But archaeologically, if she couldn't do a big jar, what has she been in business? I don't know. So, I mean, ancient wise, those pots are big. You're cooking dinner for a lot of people. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and flatten this a little bit. I kind of like to flatten that first row, gives me a little more surface area. A little more clay than we want to lay out here. Get rid of you. Still coiling. You notice last time I coiled clockwise and I pinched clockwise. I think I'm going to do that on this one. What do you think about this? Yeah, I'll do that on this one too. I'm going to get one full round, and so I'm going to set the thumb up like this way. And I think this is a little more like a Rogers. Is Roger here yet?
No, not yet.
He said he'd be here around 2.
Yeah, he said
it's 2 now.
Said Andy I messaged 2:33.
John, didn't
Well, that's
What's that?
Didn't Roger learn from John?
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I thought he does.
yeah. This how you do it.
Roger's dragging this.
That video I
Gypsy-
made of Roger corrugating still gets tons of views.
Oh yeah,
We watch
Oh
every
yeah.
And I own that pot.
Do you?
That's
We
right. He fired it the
dried
same
that
day.
night and fired it.
Fired it that night
I
on the
have 3
camera.
of John's pots. He gave me 2 that he demoed last year, and then I got one from him.
But to be able to make it in the morning and fire it at night,
Yeah, I've never done
That's
that.
your clay.
no
do that in
cracks,
New
no
Jersey.
fissures. It's one of my favorite pots. It was a really dry day. It was Tierra in 2015, New Mexico, and it was a really dry day. And
Well, and the pot.
and the pot was 4
Oh,
inches.
Yeah, it's small.
4 inches.
He had just a handful of clay with him.
Oh, it's ready at 11.
We fired it about 11 o'clock that night.
It was
Yes.
late, but it was the same day.
And it's,
Yeah,
Counted,
that's
we
true.
counted.
It was by firelight.
and
Yeah.
it's set on the shelf, pre-warming for quite a while.
Yeah. Were you out there when we
This went
fired?
around.
Oh yeah,
I don't
So
remember that
I'm
part. I
gonna give you
remember.
your.
oh yeah, I made it.
Sorry.
I want to see that pot come to life.
Now, honestly, that one's probably already would be tough to. I could probably jump back in on it and boil, but again, heat and as dry as it is, I'm going to put that bevel in here
So,
first.
one of the things that I realize that I've been doing is you just tear off the piece when it's too long for what you're doing, and I just try and do the whole coil.
Right. So it's kind of like what that gal was talking about in her talk up there today about, when you start, you got all these rules, you cut your ends a certain way and all this stuff, and then once you figure out what you're doing, you just start. You don't care the coil's how long, you stick it together, that kind of thing. So,
I'm sorry, got your foot.
yeah. I hope my feet are clean over there.
Me too.
She said she wishes he hopes her feet are clean, but really,
Yeah, they're
does she mind? She posted those pictures on Facebook the other day where your face was covered with.
Oh, wasn't that bravery? Man, it took a lot to do that. I was like, yeah, that last two were bad pictures, man. I'd been in the fire that day. By myself. I was home alone firing. Bill says, I don't know why you fire alone. Because I get tired of waiting on
Andy,
other
did
people.
you film that one of Roger?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I say, it's getting lots of hits. And I still go look
What's
at it
Bill
every
doing?
once in a while.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he worked this week. We were just saving vacation.
He's
for
dragging his gypsy wagon down, so that's why he's partly slow.
Right.
a couple weeks.
Yeah, he's got to cross the mountains to get here from Tucson. With that wagon.
Since
Yeah.
I was flying, it didn't really make sense. His claim to fame is the chainsaw and all that insanity. And the truth is with the miles down here, it just gets, you guys know, you drove it.
It's kind of hard to check a chainsaw.
So you're just doing the beginnings of the pot. Well, I may go back and work a whole one, but you'll learn more from. I'm getting you through the thought process. Again, I don't spend a lot of time cleaning that up. You got to see all those lines back there. Yeah. We never get something real aggressive. Oh my God. You have to smooth out a little bit, not a lot.
I was able to get to the beginning, but
Let the pot dry.
it built up and then fell out. And I got it.
So depending on whether my pot's getting bigger or smaller, I'll smooth my rows outward on the inside if the pot's getting bigger. When the pot starts getting smaller, I pull the smooth down because I'm trying to contract the pot or make the pot bigger. Yeah, that's a biggie. I almost switched. See what I almost did there? I almost switched back to my what do you call it? Default pinch.
So you're sort of pinching down from the top, and over there you were.
Yeah,
I think your hands
well,
on the bottom, right?
It was index finger coming over the top. This is thumb.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But you notice I'm still using my left hand. Tori pinches with the right. John pinches with his left. Yeah.
I don't know that I can pinch with mine.
Well, I'm a right-handed, very dominant. Now, I got a little bit of a crack there, but I would just give it a little bit of scoring. And pack some clay into it. Yeah, just so it'll take a little bit of the moisture into it. And this piece may not make it. I may not spend enough time in the early zone. It takes patience. Yeah, and even sitting back at camp when the temperature is 25 degrees cooler this evening, it'll be a whole different thing to corrugate. I mean, it's not terrible out here. It's probably 85.
What would have a small corrugated pot been used for?
Yeah, good question.
I mean, like that one Roger made me. I mean,
Yeah, it's not.
okay.
It's only a miniature. It's only a good demo thing because you can get it made fast. You got to be able to cook a meal. I would think you'd want one less than a quart or so, quart or two. I've seen them, but you don't usually see them much smaller than a gallon, really.
Okay.
And I don't know about down here. I've got to tell Andy the story about the pots that are in my basement one of these days that I did not dig or buy or anything else. They're all from this neighborhood.
Let me go get that little piece.
Blow your mind. Now, everybody knows about it. I mean, lots of archaeologists know about it. I just don't know what to do with them. I can share it with the whole group. I didn't do anything illegal. You guys taping this?
Eric is.
No,
Pay him.
I forgot. I haven't been putting my bevel in, and that's probably why I got that crack.
One of the things that I just
Does anybody want to try? There's plenty of clay here.
is when you find the shards.
We're used to
They
from
have fingers
Minnesota,
there
so
and
Water's here. I mean, you really don't
not in the
learn a
sun.
lot by watching, and this isn't as much about us making pots today as it is about you getting your hands in there a little bit, and then if anybody's got clay with them from at home, go bring it.
I have it at the camp.
Yeah, it's at the camp.
Steve, would you pass me a little plate?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, man.
Again, keep wet these rags and there was a couple other rags in here. Let's keep stuff. I will get my foot out of your face at some
No, I
point.
like it.
You like it?
He's a foot guy.
I have a fetish.
I would take a foot massage and
got
you can do my toenails while you're over
No,
there.
I don't go that far.
Okay, keep your clay covered with that. So thought you were a flower.
Okay.
I'm crowding you too much attention.
No, you're not bothering me at all. I have to have one leg straight because my lower back won't take it all the out. So we're gonna try to pull that back in there. A whole foot in view.
Was Ron Carlos here?
Ron canceled?
Yeah, Ron doesn't drive himself. I think he has some eyesight
Oh,
problems.
yeah.
No,
it is.
no.
I
Okay,
would have
okay.
picked him up.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. That's exactly my thought when I heard that was
Well,
people coming from Phoenix. There's
called
probably a
me.
bunch of people who could have
okay, then by default, you get his burnishing shell.
Oh, geez, I'm gonna have to give it to him next time I see him.
No,
No,
you
you
take it.
Okay.
Open it up. It's
You have to start.
How do I get in?
It's hermetically
Bite it.
sealed. Holy cow!
bite it.
So you brought Ron one. I didn't know that.
You betcha.
You should see mine.
She has one made of fossilized dinosaur bone.
You should
I saw
see
that
it. This
last night.
man is a. Oh, I did show it to you. You were there. Yeah.
Oh, you ground and polished them?
Oh, look, yeah.
Yes.
Are you
Well,
on
on a
You can always finish
on
mine.
a Caver's
I thought
heavy
we were going
machine.
down.
Yeah.
Boy, that last row was dry. I don't know if I can get
I'm sorry?
Nate or not.
Look at your name.
Charlene, if
What's your
I
last name?
if my
Carver.
clay is sticking
Are
to
you
the
gonna
table, is that too much
I
water or
think
not
so.
enough water on it?
That's too much water. Just pull back and roll a little bit where it's dry a minute, because all you're doing is washing. Yeah, you're washing your clay off. That's the actual clay. You'll end up with a wad of
Holy
timber.
smokes.
Platform, did you start with a
Yes, sits on top of the platform, correct. And punch it down to the spiral and then start wrapping. So it's just like a
Andy,
little
we went
tabletop,
to
almost the same
South
idea as
Padre, as
here,
far south
but
as you
it's
could
just
go in
holding
Texas in
onto
the
it while you
spring.
wrap it around like that.
Spent a week
But you
collecting
bind
shells,
it to
and
that
I've been
platform
turning those
because
into
it ends up
necklaces,
being
pendants,
part of the pot.
and I
It's not
got
just
to
hold it while
making
you're working.
burnishing stones the other day. I said, I need to make some out of shell.
Yeah.
So how will it do against the abrasion, with the abrasion part, with the
With the grog in there,
yeah.
fairly well.
Okay.
It's a hardness of about
Of course, you're all
6.
That's what
mercy
And
to one
so
bowl of
it's
water.
not
This
too
was
bad.
a totally unplanned workshop,
When
but
you're
we're
grinding
doing
this
it now.
stuff,
So
are you?
now, if you
I know
really
some
want to
shells
try
are
to
a little
pull
bit
off a whole
toxic when you're
pot,
All of
grinding
them
you
are.
got
All
to
of them
be
are?
thinking
Okay, that's
about
what I didn't
turning
know.
that very first
So-
corner
You're just
really
doing it all wet.
early.
I'm a silversmith, so I have a lapidary set up.
So I'm gonna give you guys-
It's all traditional.
If you
I
do
make
the
my own stamps.
platform, leave it a little fatter in the center and feather your edges out. They'll blend into the back of your pot better.
Oh,
You do a flat.
If you want to. Some
Yeah.
people I know do. I don't
Okay.
personally, but a lot
John
of people
started
make
almost
some.
making a dimple, or I mean a nipple in the middle of it. I don't know if he's still doing that or not. He's
You,
been working with
why
that.
don't you? You guys have watched John probably as much or more than I have. Why don't you jump in here and grab some clay? So a lot of times he presses it down right now, and then he starts his first turn. I think.
Yeah, his bottoms are a little different than
Oh,
yours. I
okay.
like your bottoms better. I love that look
You mean?
of this.
Yeah.
John's look a little different.
Huh.
They just go, they kind of spiral, and he doesn't worry
Yeah.
about the bottom so much.
Let's see if I can do my other pinch again on this.
Okay.
Well, and that's because he's a master of working outside. If you learn to corrugate in a controlled environment,
He also talked about how much they handled them, and so he goes, the bottom was going to get
Yeah.
messed up anyway, so he just doesn't worry.
Doesn't worry about how
But to
pretty.
me, when you turn those pots
Those
over
are
like you do
beautiful.
them, they're gorgeous.
So you.
I like my pots upside down better than right side up.
Their bottoms are stunning, aren't they?
I do. They look way better.
I wished I brought the two from the campground when you guys. That was such a weird beginning. I got started getting that. That's so strange. The clay should be pretty darn wet. Now this is fascinating because he's pinching different. Another way. Remember when I showed you using the side of this index finger? If you get really pooky dependent.
Yeah, I'm kind of freaky dependent.
Wayne King, where's Wayne King when you need him?
He's
says
up there.
He says he's got every addiction there ever was. So. Are you pooky dependent?
He
Um,
is.
After I get my first, and then maybe I can really sit down and make a whole pot. John has a skill that I don't, which is he'll sit there and visit where I like to really concentrate. But I have been known to use so I have these extremely bent little fingers. I was born with them. They didn't come from making pottery. But I'm thinking maybe they did something in it. But I will use the outside of that finger. Okay, let me get one row on, because if I don't, I'm going to get an old-fashioned row just to get it going.
I always thought that I tried to do Clint swings, like I said, and I just didn't see what the pinch looked like, and then tried to copy it with my thumb. But it just seems so awkward.
Oh, it feels
But
so
do you get
comfortable to me.
see? Did it
Yeah.
always feel comfortable, or did it feel
I don't
odd?
know. I don't remember. First corrugate I ever did, I fired at that first Kiln Conference I
I
was
can't
at.
get the pinch going on it. It looks like
Yeah.
cow dung.
You get down to pencils. Don't be afraid to.
Just stick another one on.
Don't be afraid to. Don't forget your bevel. Put your bevel on before you put your.
What are you talking
Okay,
about?
I'll show you a bevel. So when you put a. No, we gotta keep that clay.
Okay, I want my clay down to a
I'm gonna
pencil.
move this just right over here.
There's my pencil.
That's actually, if you think you're rolling coils. Just a second, I'll start over.
Okay.
And you think that looks about like a pencil. You go get a pencil and lay it by your ear. Usually twice as big as you need to be. So we're gonna once you've dried a clay out and you got to
That's a
re-wet
first
it,
grader's
put it
pencil.
back to bed. That's right, and get you a new piece because
Not
you
a
can't add water
Ticonderoga or
back.
whatever they. Yeah.
So, gotta have something to wipe my hand. Yep, my hands are getting too slurpy, and then.
Dave, I'd like to see you use your ring and roll it on the clay and see. Would be cool.
It's amazing. I do a lot of impressions on my clay from my jewelry. I really do.
My wife and I looked at it, so that was really cool.
Horsehair pot that I showed you.
I think that's the best.
I used a lot of homemade tools, a dragon tool,
Not a lot of pressure on
and
it.
I used some strapping off of
But it's the
a crate, shipping crate, and did a chattering technique.
So
and
it's
just-
getting a little dry.
I love decoration like that.
It's all, the water's all absorbing in my hand.
That one's really dry. Is there a little more? There's clay there, but okay. That's more pencil.
Okay,
First row, I actually
flatten it.
just a little bit. No, not a ton of pressure, and it's going to want to stick to the table because the table's really dry. I'm going to go clockwise. All right, once I make one round, I'm setting that index
She was
finger
just
right on there,
talking
and I'm
about
just
you.
touching it. All I'm doing is
She says you're
binding.
pookie dependent.
No, not you. I just said, has anybody here got an addiction to their pookie or pookie dependent? And I went, where's Wayne Keene? He's got all the addictions.
All of them.
I wasn't talking bad. I love that guy. So really all I'm doing is I'm...
Where'd you get this? Is her dirt.
No, this ain't even my dirt. This is Andy's dirt.
Is this cellular?
It's from Tucson.
Tucson?
Okay. So I'm not, the movement is real short and small in there. Once you get about 3 rounds on, then start using the